Welcome back. There are no dark clouds hanging above my house today, so we're able to actually continue with the post game of Dark Cloud. I did this over the weekend right after I did that first session, but it's been a couple of days clearly, so I went through and I have maxed out everybody's best weapons, with a bit of an exception here that I will show off real quick. That Xiao doesn't have a healing ability on her weapon because I tried to force giving this thing Drain before. And, yeah, even with a sphere of something that is supposed to have the ability, de nada. The game is just like, hey, fuck you for trying to have that. I don't know why they did things this way. Maybe originally the intent was supposed to be that Drain would, like, cause you to bleed health. And it was supposed to be more like the Thirst ability. But you can see I haven't actually given certain characters upgrades for their weapons to max out the stats yet, but otherwise, their stats are in fact all maxed out, and everybody's got most of the abilities. I gave up on a couple of them because I got kind of lazy, and because especially finding the critical ability and the absorb up ability, which is now useless to us, is a load of RNG. I didn't want to do that. You can see by the number there, I got fucking sick of coming to this floor, to floor 20, and digging for the possibility of getting that 5-foot nail. But hey, look, it's the same location, but this time it's a little bit bluer. Listen, I'm sure that with regard to some parts of this game, the designers were high as fuck when they were making it. And hey, look, there's rocks. Geodudes. Unsurprisingly, you kind of don't want to hit these guys with melee weapons, so that's what our range characters are for, is because they don't have to deal with their weapons taking different amounts of durability damage from attacking harder enemies. Harder in the sense of being made of harder materials, not necessarily more difficult, because you can see those guys are kind of pathetic. Now, at this point, I am going to try to skip over a lot of the treasure chests because, obviously, we don't need shit anymore. Oh. Actually, that guy's not that good at this. And hey, I paused, air quotes, and by paused I mean switched characters, at the exact right moment to hear this dude about to belch a fireball at us. Now, unfortunately, we cannot simply skip over all of the enemies here because we do have to fight until we gain access to the item that will let us move on. Okay, yeah, this isn't a mimic floor, so I don't have to deal with that. Hooray, I can upgrade this, that way I can be like, yeah, the max stats are official now. Wow. Cool. Just imagine that in the John Oliver voice, where he's going, cool. Just a response to something. Thank you, John Oliver. Oh, there's one of these again. I say again as if anyone's seen this in a while in this playthrough, because I'm the one who was dealing with that bullshit. 45 streams in a row. Wow. Hi, Irene. How's everyone doing this evening, by the way? I hope all is going well, all is good, decent, non-terrible. For some of us, I'm sure that'll make a bit of a change. Hey, sure, give me that tiny amount of money. I may need to go out of the dungeon at some point to pick up feathers. In order to just try to hustle this along, because honestly, the amount of content that's here is not that much. I get a load of this Rudy. I get a load of both these. Well, neat. One of these days I'll actually have something resembling an idea for a VTuber. I mean, I have partial ideas, and I've been mostly saying things at a friend to try to get somewhere with it. See if he can help me iron out the rest of the details, because I am horribly indecisive. That's my problem, is that I can never, like, settle on anything that I want, like, ever. I don't know how to decide things. I'm not capable in general. God, this thing takes like no damage from fire, and yet here I am just gonna keep hecking away that way. For some reason. Meanwhile, they're giving us another copy of the same skeleton enemy, but this time it looks exactly the same. And by exactly the same, I mean not exactly the same, but mostly the same. Yeah, I'm sure that options are a little bit weird with some parts, with any of the various, like, just building things from pre-existing parts. I don't know how that shot got all the way over there, but okay. Whatever you say, game. Oh, it's all these guys. I wish that it was easier to just, like, swap to a different element on the fly, but hey. They can't make this game fun. I'm being rude. But it is like, hey, it's post-game content. Do you want to enjoy yourself? Well, might need to play something else. I don't know. Hey, neat, we can go get our water recovered over there. Hooray. And there's just a couple of these. There's a lot of enemies in here. I think that's 6 dudes in this one room. And yeah, I'm sure the rest of the dungeon will be nice and spread out, and I'll have to go all the way to the other end. In fact, knowing my luck with any of these random numbers, it's going to be, hey, kill every enemy in this floor. All, like, 15, but still. Oh, no, that happened a little bit faster than I was expecting. You know, thankfully. See, with us just ignoring treasures and any of the need for leveling up or anything, we are zipping through this a lot faster. So it was a good idea for me to go and finish all that leveling up off screen. So a thing that I was doing with the design was that instead of giving her, like, actual moth wings, the design had, like, big open sleeves. Is that the way I want to describe that? I don't think that's correct. But basically they get kind of, like, wide towards the end of the arm near the opening for the hand. Wow, I'm forgetting all the terminology here as I try to explain anything. I apologize, but it was going to be something like that where it was like, and that would be part of the image of the moth wing, and then the rest of it would be made up by her hair. And basically it would be more of a silhouette thing for her looking like a Luna moth, but on the other hand, I'm also the sort of person who's like, well, I would very much turn into, like, making a million weird little alts for it. For this. She just pilot Insect Queen as a mecha in certain situations. I mean, wait. Okay, now I'm being silly. Listen, I realized today that there's, like, I think there's shockingly few humanoid bug Yu-Gi-Oh! I almost said Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon. That's a little bit stupid, but there aren't as many of them that are, like, full-on just people compared to what I was expecting. Which, with where Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster design has gone in recent years, my expectations were a very large number, but I suppose that Insect is still kind of an underused monster type in Yu-Gi-Oh!, at least to an extent. Yeah, I mean, there's some, it's just comparatively not that many, I think. But also, I think there's only, like, less than 300 insect monsters at the moment, so that may not necessarily be saying a lot. Oh, no, not upgrade. Prepare. Oops. I was gonna say, oh yeah, now we're gonna fucking die. And we're gonna deserve it too. Oh boy, we got an ice block. That's gonna be gone by the time we're done here, that's for sure. By the time we have to leave the dungeon for any reason, which there's not many reasons why we would have to, but still, bear with me here. Yeah. Great drop. I'm glad that they didn't change, like, any of the drop charts for this part of the game. It's actually very funny. Neat, we got another feather. That's very helpful, especially when I'm over here just not caring about switching elements. Well, okay, it doesn't have any effect on that whatsoever, but... that very human-sounding yell of the dumb dragons dying. Yeah, I think when I threw the search on Wikipedia, it was like 280-something came up. But perhaps I'm a fool and I've already forgotten the number and I'm just, like, throwing something much larger out there. Point is, there's not a lot. And I guess that's just because the type ended up being one of those ones that fell by the wayside due to not being popular, because there weren't any of them that were all that strong, really. I mean, there were some that are quite playable, but... you know, it's like the reptiles, right? Reptile monsters exist, but overall, they're not that common. At least I think they're still pretty uncommon. And they're hilariously undersupported most of the time. Yeah, I suspect that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia is, like, extremely out of date. But also, I tended to avoid using fandom wikis for a very long time, just by virtue of the fact that they tend to load slow as shit on my end of things due to large amounts of advertisements in there. And sure, I use an ad blocker, but that doesn't mean that they don't choke the fuck out anyway, because it has to devote all that resources to attempting to do it first. Anyway, yeah, just not really a high number. In fact, I suspect that most of the monster types that they've added since then, since the beginning of the game, all have more. Obviously, I can't go check right now, but even like Worm, which... the fuck? Why do you need that when you already have Dragon? I mean, I guess you could probably say, like, well, why do you need Cyberse when you already have Machine? But I think that goes a step further, really. Regardless, yeah, they have... I'm sure that there's more of those than there are insects at this point. Ah, hell. Ah, hell, diddly ding dong crap. We gotta go and find the silver key real quick. Oh, well, that was really quick, so... all I can say there is get a load of that. Get a load of this. Get a load of this! Ah, goody, an escape powder. That's... I'm gonna clog my inventory. Yeah, like, Psychic is a very weird one. Cyberse is one of those things where it's like, I'll give it to him because digital entity and machine are not the same. And in fact, nor would digital entity and Thunder be the same, really, so... There's reasons why you would want to have it. Other than just to bloat the figures. But yeah, Psychic is kind of weird, actually, now that I think about it. Although I guess it's like... I would say it's mostly cyborgs, but I think that that's kind of a thing that you have with machines anyway. Oh, time to go dump some items here. Was Illusion? Yeah, Illusion was brought over to the paper game at some point, wasn't it? Oh, wrong one. Yeah, 'cause that exists. Oh yeah, there's a steel slingshot. We don't need that. Yeah, because I wouldn't really know what would actually be a thing to fit under Illusion that doesn't already usually fit under a Spellcaster. Like, okay, you have Illusionist Faceless Mage, and that I think would be like a thing to fit there and maybe like relinquished, but I don't remember if anything was errata to that type afterwards. Obviously, if I barely remember that it was actually in print, then I might be a little bit muddled on if it was actually used by anything that was changed afterwards. I hear a Stompy Boy. Time to switch over to Gunsman. Oop. Almost walked right into another enemy. As one does. Yeah, I figured that was the case, but I wasn't completely sure, because in the back of my head I was like... Yeah, but then there's also the matter of Birdman, and... that is technically a functional change. Without getting into the part where creature types are always functional. But I don't want to get too much into the specifics there. Yeah, it was just sort of reverting it to the old correct play, and also so that way they didn't have to put riders on all of the card text because of the attendance, just general crustiness of that. There's a very small amount of cards where they didn't change the names, but they attached archetypes to them through giving them rules text, even for cards that are normal monsters. Summoned Skull being an example of that. Yeah, that ended up being a really funny bit of business there with Frog the Jam. Now, if only we had flavor text for effect monsters. I mean, yeah, that's sort of the next step, isn't it? Listen, there's enough card real estate still to... There's space on the card that hasn't been taken up yet by, like, an entire dissertation worth of text. You can do it, guys. Probably. If you just believe in yourselves. That guy, I'm pretty sure, just dropped a stone. It's not like he gave it... So... I see this guy's being a real butt. Oh, hey! Here's this guy approaching us from behind. Requiring significantly fewer shots to kill for some reason. Well, hey, I'm not going to complain about it. This might be confused, that's all. And as usual, don't need the help with that. Okay. I'd say don't think I didn't see you over there, rock, but I definitely didn't see that rock over there, so... That's why we ended up in that position in the first place. Having to pick it up after the room was over. Alright, off we go to the next floor. We're nearly halfway done with this bracket. See how much faster this is. Well, the exit is right there, so if we are able to get the key without having to start cracking chests. That would be nice. Of course, being that this is basically a roguelike, see, it fits just fine for Thursday Randomizer. Because a roguelike is almost a randomizer, except in all the ways that it isn't. Take care of that. And you know what, let's start opening a couple of these, because I have a feeling that we're gonna, well, don't need to worry anymore. And see, we ultimately didn't even need it. Yeah, with this many chests in here, I am guessing that this is a Mimic's floor. We had one for a bit there, and then it just sort of disappeared for a little while. Yeah, see? Mechanic is back. The enemies come and go in very odd, I hesitate to say patterns, really, but hey. It's not necessarily the most consistent, basically. Endurance up from that enemy. I don't know if that's a thing that usually is considered to be fairly tough, then. Huh. Obviously, I haven't fought them the quote-unquote regular way in a while to know, so... And see, we're really pushing our luck there as much as we can. Well, let's go heal, because we've got some free water here. Excellent. And now, back we go. Wow, that lunge causes some problems for this guy. I mean, there's also the fact that this dude is blocking very heavily, like the most I've seen out of that enemy in a while. Eesh. It's either a little grumpy on this floor, apparently. That guy will just die of poison if we leave him alone. Yep. And again, excuse me if there's any noises getting through. Alright, well, there's our ticket out of here. I'm just go find the exit. There we go, nice and easy. Oh yeah. Not time to bother with the chests yet because of... Circle strafe around an enemy while shooting them, and that'll usually get you where you need to go. Where you need to go is wherever the enemy is no longer alive, I suppose. Okay. Time to bail. Thankfully, the exit is literally right there. Very nice. Should see how much inventory space I've got left. Got 4 more spaces, so... After this floor, I will exit the dungeon in order to dump our inventory of all of the unneeded crap, of which there is still quite a bit getting to us. See, I was gonna say that I think this might be a Mimic's floor, but this many enemies in one place does kind of skew my perception in the other direction this time. Oh, excellent. We no longer even have to think about whether or not that's the case, because we can just get on out of here now. Chuck that out, and a bunch of other stuff we can dump here. Oh yeah, I don't need that many of those, that's for sure. God, our inventory is really full. Don't Don't think I need anywhere near as many of those premium waters as that. You know, the good old, the fancy, expensive bottled water. That classic scam. Ah, yes, the expensive bottled water because it's more water per water or something. I don't know. Like, come on, it's just fucking water. It's... How different is it possibly gonna be? It's marketing. It is mostly in your brain because they have inserted it into your brain through various methods. Well, thank goodness for me not having to make an effort against most of these enemies. I just press the button until things happen. That works out shockingly well. You know, I'm not even going to pick up some of these drops, I think, because a lot of them are not very important. Like, steels are just sort of foisted into my inventory, but there's no reason for me to pick up that ice block. It's not worth anything. Doesn't do anything for me here. This, however, lets me go right back to ignoring the chests. Because then I don't have to go dig for a key for the other side of the dungeon. So that's nice. Oh, yeah, I figured, but hey. There's a distinct possibility that this thing could have what we need. That's not it, but 102 gold. We do have an ability that doubles our gold drops, but still, that's kind of good for a single enemy. At least for this game. Oh, that shot lasts quite a while. Ooh. Anything good here? Yeah, poison would be the biggest problem for us, so... And by that I mean I would actually have to bother with curing that. And we got the Lamb's Sword. I think I've described that before, that at low durability, it gets a big stat buff. but it's also at almost no durability, which means they could very easily break on you. And while it's a unique thing for a weapon, the fact that they literally just have that attached to one weapon and it's not a transferable effect is quite underwhelming. It's one of those like, man, I'm not entirely sure why you bothered. You might have designed this for a different game. Also, it's looking like we're going to need to pick up a key. Unless I already got the... No, I did not. Just had to be sure because, you know, just by nature of this dungeon in general, it's very easy to get into a position where it's like, oh yeah, surely I've already done that, but no, it's just, you're just thinking of a previous floor that you've been on, because all of them look the fucking same. At least every 20 floors, they do change the background color, so very soon we will be experiencing a different color of floor. We're on number 37, and at 41 is when you get the change. And then we'll also finally start seeing some new enemies, because... yeah, you probably guessed it. There's not going to be anything new in this section for the last few floors. It's too late for that. I'm not sure yet if this is a mimic floor or not, so I may have to actually start cracking these chests open. I mean, admittedly, there's quite a few around here, but... yeah, I'm thinking I gotta start opening boxes here. With that in a moment. Yep. Yeah, there's definitely enough that I gotta do that. Same as before. Yeah, okay, we got cursed. Who fucking cares? What do you got for me? A Last Judgment. That is a pretty high tier hammer for Goro, but like, I don't really like using him that much. So, big whoop. And especially now, where we really don't need to raise up any of our any character's weapons, that doesn't really do much for us. But I will show, I'm sure that I've shown it before at some point. First of all, the fact that these two weapons look basically identical. I mean, it's not completely. This one clearly has a longer handle. Is it clear? No, actually, I think they are about the same length, but this one has a different top spike and the textures are different. Big whoop. But the overall stats are pretty nice. It comes with a base 99 attack power, so if you really need a lot of attack on one of your weapons, that's pretty good. There's a little bit of every element, and a couple of other useful stats, so hey. On paper, that's a nice thing to pick up. Unfortunately, it really doesn't matter to us at this juncture, so hey. Off we go. Excuse me. Oh, he had a drop. I'll go pick that up in a minute. Okay, yeah, he's cursed. Poisoned, rather. Yeah, you can't curse enemies because it wouldn't do anything for you. Don't care about the ice cube. And did you drop a key? Did not. So again, that doesn't really matter too much to us. Ooh, nice. We got another feather. That's always fun. Then I don't have to buy as many of those, I guess. And this is not a floor with mimics. There might still be the king mimic, but that seems to be independent of the regular kind, so... Alright, well, he's leaking. In a few minutes, he should be dropping dead. Or maybe I have to be nearby for damage to pile up. I don't know. Surely it doesn't wear off, right? So let's see what this guy. Stay nearby. Oh, hey, there's at least one mimic. Okay, I did actually shoot that guy an extra time, so that might distort the results there, but it doesn't seem like poison wears off. Bag is full. My bag is full. Fuck. We'll use one of those. And here, this should remove curse. Never mind, no it didn't. Well, this should remove curse eventually. I don't know why I'm bothering to pick this up, because I already know that I don't need it if my bag is full. Yeah, so I guess they only take poison damage when you're nearby. I did not know that about, like, any monster. Interesting. Well, good to know, I suppose. I'd say for the future, but I don't know if I'm likely to ever play this game again after I finish the post-game on stream, because I don't know. I mean, it's fun to play through once or twice, but not much meat on the bones, and this post-game is kind of underwhelming. Kind of, I say. Especially because we're in such a position where we have, honestly, things a little bit solved by using just this one character. Over and over again. Go head off to a place where I can dump all my garbage real quick. Yeah, I gotta remember to offload all of those, all the cherries, because we don't need those anymore. Yeah, pick up 2 of these. I don't know why I'm even bothering to do that. I guess because maybe I'll burn all of them at the very end, just to be like, hey, look at my high score, everybody. Just for fun. Alright, just 2 more floors of this section and we'll finally be up for a change of scenery. Fuck. Alright. Up to 39 now, right? I guess we're at 38, weren't we? No, we're on 40, never mind. At least 80% of my brain switched off there for a bit. I'm sorry. I wasn't reading what the number in the top corner said. Although they really are making me stay in here as long as possible. Oh, never mind. Just as I was thinking, they were like, oh yeah, they're really going to pad this one out for me. Game decided to stop padding it out so much. Alright, everybody, here we go. Yeah, that's a pretty strong yellow. I'm not really liking the look of this piss filter, personally, but hey. Now we've got the golden golem that we saw in the Sun and Moon Temple, Gaul, in place of Syl or the Steel Giants. Now is really a place where we've got to, honestly, just absolutely start using the elemental weakness a little bit more for that guy. On the other hand, switching to wind for a lot of the enemies here may not necessarily make a lot of sense, but at least these dudes take the same amount of damage. Spades get decently trashed by the wind elemental shots here. Buddy. Yeah, some of those enemies love to do that when they're at a range. Yeah. Well, we got the key nice and fast. That's good. Yeah, see how much more damage we're doing than we were with the holy attack. Going. There are some more interesting enemies in this section, I believe, so... Oh, hey. Just big enough to block the road. What's your drop? Oh, an anti-freeze amulet. I'd say that's useful, but mostly it would just get sold, to be honest with you. Hey. Fuck you, give me back some HP. I don't really need to do that. I'll get the health back when I'm in this part of the run. Sure. Alright, not a whole lot of inventory space left, so... Got an interesting looking enemy here. It's hard to tell, but that's a bird. Bird with hands. Ah, yeah, there's a bat. That's not a bird. Oh, goody. There's another bat. Surprised we didn't hear that thing before. They're so noisy. And this is a mimic floor already. Wow. Well, I guess we're pretty deep into the tower now. Deep, even though we're going up. Ostensibly. So... I don't know why I said deep in that case, but hey. I wish it wouldn't be such a nightmare to have just ground out another of some of these weapons. That way I could have them a little bit easier. No, it would just be about just as time consuming, really. So, never mind. Whatever I was saying, yeah, I'm full of shit. Again. Alright, let's step out here. Sort this, and how much stuff do we have to dump? Got a lot of revival powders. I'm almost tempted to throw some of those, but I have way too much repair powder, that's for sure. I use a lot of it, but I get so much of it back that it doesn't really matter that much that I do. Okay. Let's dump this stuff out, and yeah. Back to the dungeon we go. Back to this place. Takes a while. And is mostly the same backgrounds. Alright. It's just a king mimic. I was kind of hoping it would be a weapon chest just because I like opening those. I mean, again, there's no point to getting it right now, but still. It's fun, you know? At least on paper. And we've got the annoying fish here. Not as annoying as they get later in the dungeon, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Excuse me. Those guys, when you see them later, the space Guillaumes, they are a special variety of annoying bastards. Because they are immune to all elemental attacks. But again, we'll deal more with that when the time comes. Yeah, these dudes again, who can abruptly give themselves stamina effect. These masks. I fought a crap load of these when I was leveling up. Not in this section of the game, obviously, because I didn't get here at that point, but the original version and then back in the shipwreck. Yeah, at least the Rash Dashers, I guess, have healing items so we can steal from them, but we don't need those that much. In fact, I have so many of them in my inventory, and I just haven't used them in a while because everybody has Drain. I'm kind of tempted to just sell them next time I go to the shop. We've sort of reached a point where a lot of the mechanics are basically just like minor annoyances to us at worst. Or our status effects. Oh, I didn't see that guy earlier. Yeah, that drop will probably be a stamina drink, I would assume. I will pick it up just to see. No, it's a speed item. That's odd. Well, to be fair, my recollection of these drop charts is kind of butts. I'll take one more floor here before I go and dump my inventory, which is happening much faster than I thought it would, but hey. Sometimes it just has to be how it is, and I probably need to dump more shit on my inventory anyway in general, so... Because a lot of this stuff is not going to be that useful anymore. Oh, nice. There's a water pool here, so I don't even have to use a water item. Should probably hit that before I use the key to leave. Absolutely cover my bases here. Yeah, I'll sell one of those. Again, don't need anywhere near this many of these healing items. Especially if we're able to steal more of them at the current floor that we're at. Eesh. Excuse me. It's just a matter of convenience, really, so that way we can... explore for longer. Excuse me again. Alright, back to work. Yeah, these guys are not really fast to kill with this, but whatever. I don't feel like changing my weapon element if I can avoid it. Unless the game makes me. In case I'll be a little bit upset, I guess. Alright, and there's our key. I think we literally just passed by the place we have to go anyway. Like, right there, right? It sure looks like it on the map. Yep. Oh, for a sec I thought that was an enemy that we hadn't seen here before. No. No, this many floors in, we're not going to be seeing new enemies. Until the next set of encounters. There we go. Immediately face to face with another mask. Decent number of chests. I guess I'll start checking for mimics. Actually, that number changes my perspective a lot. Just had to make sure that I didn't already get it somehow. Yeah, we already fought this floor's King Mimic, right? So... Hey, neat. We got one of those things. Again, it has a nice amount of every element, so Again, if you're still raising your weapons, but at this point you really shouldn't be. There's better ways to do any of that because of having better access to farming on a good budget, so yeah. That up. And time for us to just get out of here, because we've spent so long on this floor. We did almost everything here, wow. Oh, thank goodness I didn't use a thirst recovery item. I just was curious how many I had. Because there's a pond literally right there. That's fine. I think the curse prevents you from switching your attack element. Also, your weapon element, pardon me. I don't need to worry about that right now. Because just about everything on this floor is very adeptly dealt with using wind. Nothing is so resilient to it that I find that to be a problem. Yeah, just doing the usual check, that's all. Oh, hey. Blended right into the woodwork there, buddy. These weird bird legs and massive hands that don't necessarily make sense for a bird. I'm just gonna finish this guy off just because we're here. Oh, hey, that's right. The chance of instant kill from the critical ability, which I completely forgot about, that actually kicked in there. It's like, what do you mean that guy died in 2 shots? And then I remembered, oh yeah, I have an ability that's supposed to make that happen more often. Yeah, you can quite safely just always open the big chest because it will be important no matter what, unless that stupid clown shows up and makes it so that way your drop from the chest is garbage, but hey. Alright, well now we can just get out of here because we've got the exit key. This floor. Hey, there we go. We're over halfway done with this section. Could you cut that out? Yeah, the masks really like being on defense and annoying you into having to press the button multiple times. Is that annoying? It's annoying me too, so fix that real quick. Well, neat. We got one of those. I just started opening chests because I'm suspecting mimics by the number of chests that are here. Although with how this is going, perhaps not. Oh, there we go. But pointedly without its biggest problems. Well, you'd have to change a lot of the game then, I think. Well, okay. Maybe I'm stretching things a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely... It's a game from the very beginning of the 2000s, alright. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to someone else picking up this sort of style and formula and creating this game, but without the parts that are bad. Well, without the parts that are egregiously bad, because I guess if we just say, oh, without the parts that are bad, well, like I sort of implied, we might have to replace 99% of the game. My bag is full. Damn it. Oh, whatever, I'll just use some healing items. And I'll even repair that thing way early, because at that point, why not? I will only open chests if I run out of more enemies. If I run out of enemies at this point, because... Yeah, weapon durability systems are already kind of not good. And with this game, it is extreme at times. It is just absolutely fucking awful about that. Ugh. Yeah, it's irritating. Excuse me. Yeah, that crystal eyeball is not really... At this point, since it's not really worth going into the back rooms of dungeons, and also we don't need to get too much just random treasure. Again, I mostly just crack these boxes open because sometimes I need to be able to get a key or something. We can just sell that, and it's worth a good chunk of money. For what absolutely fuck nothing that's worth right now. It's just an electric gem again. A lot of curse traps on these chests. I guess because in theory they're supposed to mostly have weapons, so maybe it's makes sense on some level. I guess. On paper. Oh, I see what you're about, game. You're about not actually giving me a ton of options, which is fine. Alright, fucknut. Would you stop already? There we go. For a bit, it did. No need for that right now, probably. Will I find out otherwise? Almost ran right into that blue ring. That's right, don't need to bother with the chests until find out that we need to, really. Because again, overstocking our inventory, not really that useful. Not anymore. We don't need money that much. Hey, hey, we managed to get the roll for critical there. Nice. Go through the hole in the wall. Come on. Let's do this correctly. Alright, got that. Let's go find the elevator again. Alright, 54. We're pretty near the end of this section, so again, soon we'll be able to see this dungeon without so much of a piss filter. It'll just be filtered with a different color. I'm not going to reveal what color, but I'm sure that if you've paid attention to the pattern, you might be able to guess. Oh no, my feather. Fix that in a second. It's the amulet. I forgot already. Very nice. The kill. The drop is not very important. But we'll pick it up anyway because it's there. And there's our Black Knight crest. Let's get the fuck out of here. What's our inventory space look like? Oh, we've got plenty. All right. I see we've got a gate already here. Well, we'll worry about that later. Not much later, I guess, but hey. Later anyway. Should not need to open the rest of these, but we will anyway. Again, I'm just guessing that there's no regular mimics on this floor just because of the amount of enemies we've seen so far being pretty large. Okay, so after this floor, we'll head back to the shop and start dumping our inventory. As we frequently do. Yeah, once again, pushing that right to its limit. I really don't have to do that with the repair powder at all, but do it anyway. But hey, we had a good excuse to use a revival powder, I suppose. Depending on how the rest of this goes, that might extend our time on this. Wow, I really didn't even see that treasure chest. Amazing. This, I think, is a... Yeah. It's a big boy. Take him out. It is much lower amount of money than the previous one that we got money from. Oh, well. I was kind of hoping for a chest key, but whatever. That's not where I wanted to go. That's better. Alright, just a second, everybody. Okay, yeah, I ended up getting up to use the can. I had originally just meant to adjust my chair, but I was like, nah, I could stand to empty my bladder. But I'm back now, so yeah. Lears, how's it going? Any developments with anything at all, I guess? Fuck, I don't know where I was going with that. Actually, I guess you could answer me one thing here, Lears. Because, I mean, obviously there's no odds of me having budget for like a full-on upgrade my computer all the way to the super maximum here, but you know I'm sitting on a 1080 Ti. Is it worth it to look into like a 5060? Am I gonna glitch? I actually don't know how to do any of the glitches in this game. Unless you want to count the part where the dumb fucks who programmed this, when they released it in America, accidentally made it impossible to get an item except through a glitch, then in that case, we're technically doing that all the time. But that's a whole other story. We are in the post-game, and admittedly, I played through the main game 4 years ago on this channel, so I'm looping back around to it, because, yeah. Because, yeah, I kept, like, looking at stuff like that. Now, keep in mind also that the amount of newer PC games that I am interested in is, like, But having an upgrade to do a little bit more with some of the stuff that I've already got wouldn't necessarily feel bad, I guess. Yes, I'm still on 1080p. I'm not really looking to up that any further at this particular juncture. I mean, come on, I can't read the fucking text at the sizes that it's at now. If you expect me to switch to something where it would be a smaller proportion of the screen, well, then I may as well just not use eyes or some... whatever, you know. Make sure it's a 16 gig... well, yeah, I mean Natch, but... I mean, I think there is technically still a little bit of headroom for upgrading the CPU inside of the AM4 socket. I think. But that might also be quite pricey. So yeah, I mean, it's basically just kind of sitting at the, like, this is the, like, would I consider it in the future sort of thing. It's not a huge problem right now. My computer still works quite good. You know, again, considering that my interests in terms of modern gaming tend to be on the lighter side of things. You know, for example, I'm not necessarily looking into the FF7 remake trilogy. Nor am I about to, like, play Clair Obscur, because I've played a lot of classic JRPGs in the first place, so I already basically have experience with that shit. Hey! And plus, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop about somebody at Sandfall having been involved in something absolutely horrible. Obviously, there are people who are very up in arms about the AI assets that were used in a free-release version of it. And I'm not here to talk about that in any sort of... Obviously, I think that that is terrible, and if you're using placeholder assets, literally just put anything there. Like, get your kids to scribble something on a piece of paper. At least that'll have some fucking charm, right? But setting that part of things aside, it really is just sort of like, I cannot help but feel like a lot of the people who are like, oh, this game is so good, are real fucking tourists. And maybe this is just me being a pretentious cunt, but oh my god. Hey, you can call me a pretentious cunt if you want, it's true. Anyway. But yeah, if it's no major concern, and the main thing to look at any point would be CPU, then I will keep that in mind. But yeah, if I'm not necessarily looking to go into the realm of bigger than 1080p at this point. There's only a few games that are of great interest to me, but Adventures of Elliot? I don't know anything about Adventures of Elliot, to be honest with you, Retro. I didn't even know that was a Square Enix game until today. So plus, like, I can't imagine that that'll have issues running on my current rig. Assuming that it's available for PC. I am offhand, I've only seen it for the Switch 2, which I also don't own and don't think I will anytime soon. Unless, like, I stumble into one for $200 or something, which is not going to happen. But yeah, I'm just sort of, like, plotting out, because... Anyway. AMD just re-released the 5800X 3D. Yeah, I've seen that there's been some issues with getting to DDR5. Hell, I've been... Obviously, because I was thinking... The main reason why I thought about potentially doing, like, big upgrades on the PC is that I want to say it was during the Xbox show, but I could be wrong. There was this, like, Magicians game that I saw that looked to be of interest. It looks stylish anyway. Basically, the high concept, I'll give this to you because I remember that, if not the exact title, which is effed. Where basically it's kind of like, imagine an FPS, but you're doing, like, stage magic tricks as your whole gig. Basically, a game where you get to play as Gambit. And, listen, I think that's kind of awesome. I am a huge mark for, like, the one X'd man, and it's that one. But, so I'd been, like, peeking around at some stuff and, even looking at pre-build websites just to kind of, like, stick my finger up in the air, because obviously I would basically need to replace the entire effing thing at that point. Almost. It would be, like, the main things that I would not have to replace would be, like, control devices, i.e. mouse and keyboard, stuff that is still arguably, I think, deemed a peripheral in the most technical sense, but obviously you would not consider to be a fucking peripheral. Or hard drives, because, like fun, I'm moving to fucking Windows 11. Are you kidding me? If Microsoft wants more information out of me, here's some information for you, Microsoft. Balls, 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 balls. I'm slowly turning into Seer, I apologize. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch, but definitely. Anyway, so... Yeah, I'm on Windows 10. I'm not about to... But, anyway. Enough of that. Enough of that horse shit. But I was looking at, like, a couple of, even pre-build sites just to, sort of get a bit of a measure for what the cost would be. And I would still expect those to be overpriced, but hey, some of them do have cool-looking cases, and I am a huge dork. But I noticed that a lot of them, even that are still like inside of a budget that is comparable to my current machine, are still sitting in the DDR4 category. Hell, a lot of that stuff is actually using less memory than what my machine has got rigged up to it. In terms of gigs, I mean, I'm on fucking 64 gigs of RAM, which I don't know if that's still considered, like, high by the standards anymore, but... But yeah, like, I've definitely seen a lot of those things that were sitting in a price point, and it's like, you're still offering 32, or in some of them even 16 gigs of DDR4. At least it's 3200 speed for how much that matters, which I don't know for sure. But it is kind of like, god damn, that is a little bit dated, but... God, 96 gigs of... That is... RimWorld eats 51... Jesus Christ, why does that game take so much RAM? Like, how much stuff is it doing? 500... Oh, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it, I think. Yeah, that's insane. Well, I guess that if you're in a position where you truly need that, like... But yeah, it's just like, the prices are so completely broken because of a variety of factors, but most importantly, a technology that none of us want except for people who can't think for themselves and need a machine to use basic brain functionality. It's a wonder these people are able to wipe their own asses. Have you guys ever heard of a disease, a disorder called Ondine's Curse, where a person is unable to breathe involuntarily? They cannot take involuntary actions. Obviously, they don't live very long. It's not like you're not about to be like, oh, hey, I found a 45-year-old who is suffering from Ondine's Curse. No, obviously, these people all die very young because you are... That's kind of unsustainable to be unable to breathe without taking voluntary action. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, I think about the people who use AI, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Maybe it is possible to live with that for an extended period of time. Yeah, no, the world is full of some, like, really fucked shit, and we as like, a species, we just don't always pull together properly, you know? There's all kind of, like, various physical development disorders that ain't nice. Anywho, yeah. Basically, because of that, RAM prices are in a range that I like to call brutal deluxe right now, so any real interest that I've had for upgrading my PC, I guess the main thing I can say here is I'm glad that RimWorld never really hooked me. Oh yeah, by the way, we're on bracket 4 out of 5 of the Demon Shaft, and you can see things are looking a little bit green around the gills here. Oh, thank fuck, we can actually change elements while cursed, because I didn't feel like curing that. And we've got crossbow skeletons now. That's right, they gotta have a... I was gonna say, they've gotta have a bone man in every single one of these, but we didn't have a skeleton in the Thunder section, did we? But yeah, our Silver Gear here, he resists lightning, so I'm obviously just like plinking his ass to death, but I don't feel like swapping to Holy to deal with the fact that... Oh god, they really want me to just use different. They're like, stop goofing off, idiot. But I like goofing off. Anyway. Only time you'd chill a Reddit outside shitpost 14. That sounds fair. Reddit is definitely a hard sell as a website. I'll say this. As somebody who has occasionally used it for the purposes of, like, getting resources for a couple of games that I play and stuff, it's like, yeah, don't look at that for very long. It will hurt your brain. I saw a post earlier today, and this is gonna be, like, really on the kind of level of I'm not sure if anybody's really gonna have any care or anything to say about this, period. In the PSO Reddit. And it's a guy who was saying that they were kind of bitching about the design of things in PSO2 on the PSO1 Reddit, which apparently just seems to end up being like all of the online Phantasy Stars together a lot of the time, because nobody can be asked to go to any of the other communities, I guess. And it was this guy, so he posted a picture of the Rockasiel, who is the generic girl robot the robot girl ranger, pardon me. I played as her when I played through PSO story mode earlier this year, and it just sort of looks like, well, a slightly maid-themed, I would say, robot, for those of you who are unaware. I could link to the image, but I don't feel like I should bring that curse into this household, you know? So... And it was saying, Type 2 casts in PSO, which Type 2 is... For those of you who don't have games with the conception of Type 1 or Type 2 as the names for physical appearances, it's a more generalized sort of conception of girl versus boy without saying male or female. Because obviously, yeah, you know, we all kind of, I think, understand the concept of what a transgender person is, right? So the idea of what one would consider frequently to be a female body, you know, you could say that I'm a Type 1, right? Because I have a penis, basically, and was, you know, XY chromosomes, etc. However anybody wants to try to phrase that in a very, you know, in that sort of way. Because I was assigned male at birth, if you will. So they were saying this is like that, again, this terminology didn't exist in 2000. This is a thing that cropped up in PSO2. And not even when PSO2 started either. It was when they shifted over to PSO2 New Genesis. And not when PSO2 New Genesis started either, I don't think. I think that they actually... That, like, the Type 1, Type 2 terminology is, like, a year and a half old at most. So without getting too deep into that, but... They were basically taking this, admittedly very generic, but kind of the best choice of design of that category, and comparing it to what really did just look like a generic anime succubus girl, and saying, oh, this is what the Type 2 robot girls look like now, which I can't confirm for sure. I don't remember what, like, half of the designs or anything look like in PSO2. And I just sort of think that, like, you know, I appreciate that you have some sense of what we will rather brusquely call an axe to grind here. That you've got opinions and you're stating them, but I feel like taking the best and comparing it to the worst is just kind of like a little bit, you're biased in a certain way, to put it nicely. Because let's also remember that the other robot girl that was in PSO 1 was the Hugh Casil, who just kind of looked like a woman in spandex that covered the face. It's the sort of design, it makes a chick from Stellar Blade look interesting, you know? And that's going pretty far. But, you know, yeah, personally, I think that would be a little bit more interesting retro, but I suppose I'm just sitting here looking over at executives, full stop, and going, baby steps, man, baby steps. There's still gender-locked outfits in Final Fantasy XIV, as far as I'm aware. So, like, you've got to take something... Oh god, that... Okay, so that guy's not immune to lightning, but he takes, like, 0 damage from it, so... He's a poopy doo-doo head, and I'm gonna have to find a better way to deal with his ass. And I think that's gonna have to be Xiao, because she has an element attached to her weapon, because I forgot to turn it off. Whoopsie! Again, I think the idea with a lot of the... Ow. That thing just straight up kills me. Personally, I think on some level I would be more for, like, eliminate those nomenclatures altogether if you are able. But then that does add some complicating factors. At least for, like, a fair, you know, on some level. Of just, like, do you unify all of character creation? Also, I forgot to re-equip a, forgot to re-equip a revival powder. Also, to be totally honest with you, I don't even need to bother fighting these guys. I have the key. I just need to get out of here. But let this all sort of wrap around and emphasize that the Space Geons here are absolute bitches. Like, that may be the worst enemy in the game, I think, on some level. Which is weird, because they're a really shitty enemy, but they're not that bad when you encounter them the first time. Get out of my fucking way, dude. I'm salty now. I guess the other alternative is that we just plink this guy to death. Can we hit him with any element other than thunder? You know that holy doesn't do anything. Yeah, no, it's literally do absolutely fuck nothing damage with thunder or go non-elemental. Oh, hell yeah, it's poisoned. Let's go, boys. Scaly ass. Anyway, yeah, this is the part of the dungeon where things start to go from painful to absolute shit. This is the most drizzling of shits, I assure you. Carry an umbrella, folks. Maybe invest in more of a wetsuit or something. Anywho's it, yeah, Reddit's just kind of make me angry. They just kind of, they will, it's some sort of special talent, right? That, like, a person will just, even if the person isn't being a complete jackass on Reddit, they're definitely jackassing around pretty hard. They're definitely doing the old Steve-O pretty heavily. Oh, thank goodness, an easy enemy like a Mimic King. Only 42. Only 82 gold, pardon me. 42. I was thinking of what it was before the multiplier. And even that's not correct. It would be 41. Oh no, I can't do math. And oh, there's a... That's just a Cursed Rose, actually. That's not that bad. There's some other enemies here that absolutely suck the air out of my lungs, but, you know. We'll deal with that when we get there. Ouch. That wasn't that bad, actually. Never mind. Alright, let's bail. Alright, thankfully the Cursed Rose takes acceptable damage from Thunder. I'm gonna get some water out of it for some reason. I just blink that guy. Give him the old blink machine. Oh, he was poisoned when he got up. I could have just let him die. I could have just left him alone. Don't you just love it when you can just poison a skeleton? It doesn't have any organs. What's getting poisoned? Give him the old bone cancer, I guess. I don't know. Bone hurting juice. Oh, shit. And that thing is immune to lightning. Might be immune to all elements. I don't know. Well, just because it doesn't take damage doesn't mean that it can't get status affected. That's cool. I wonder if I could still land critical on them. We'll just let the poison damage take its toll here. Suddenly, this enemy has become deeply unserious. Oh, these guys. These guys suck. I mean, we've seen the Alexanders before. Ow! Stop blocking, you bastard! Yeah, you can see why they suck. They're just kind of like a much more awful version of the masks. And they are... Well, first of all, they're the sort of enemy you would prefer to fight them with a melee character, but if they block, which they will still block at melee range, you've got to get your attacks in there fast. You've got to have an... Well, itchy finger might be a little bit not quite what you want, but you got to be ready. You got to be quick on the draw, and if you get your attacks blocked, they eat like 20 of your weapon's durability. It's disgusting. And I'm pretty sure that, yes, that's even with the durable ability, which we got on every weapon because of cheesy shit. Which, I guess, arguably, that did count as a glitch, too. So, put it on the list for anybody who's keeping track. Thank fuck we got a nice lucky freeze there. I hate those enemies so much, man. At least the Silver Gears have, like, no HP, almost. Considering how much we're chewing them up, even with 300 damage hits, compared to things that we're dealing 5 times as much damage to. We're doing 5 times as much damage to. They're dying just as few hits. Killing this guy out of principle. Told you. Yeah, they're not worth any money, but hey, that's fine. Oh, I hear a pirate's chariot. Yeah. Love the look of those things. That's another enemy you don't want to fight at melee, but hey. Sometimes you're forced to, right? And get a load of that jerkus. Still clipping me with a shot there. Oh well. Oh, I thought that one was also a bomb. I don't know why I would have picked it up then, because it's not like items of the same type stack or anything. Is this anything? No, it's just more fishing bait. That makes sense, because usually the skeletons drop fishing bait for some reason. See, personally, I would just go fishing with the skull or something, I guess. Excuse me. But yeah, this section of the level is really just the, hey, do you like not fighting at melee? Because every enemy will consume your entire repair gauge in a single hit. Well, boy oh boy, do I have good news for you, because all of them also block like hell. Well, okay, not all of them, just a few enemies, really. But the ones that are big blockers are real bastards about it. Also, with two characters' best weapons being consumed entirely by requiring you to... Jesus, man! Calm down. By requiring you to use elemental attacks, there's definitely a couple enemies here that are big, big problems. Ooh, boy. Had to go through everything on this floor. Probably just made it feel worse. Alright, you know what? Let's ignore that thing. Come back to it later if you have to. Okay, well, yeah, we got this shitty fish that we can fight, and that's it. There's a couple of them on this map. And all of them are equally the worst kind of people. You may be wondering how that can possibly be, because fish are clearly not people, but... Well, I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm taking the Black Knight Crest and I'm moving on. Because, my god, can you believe we're still only on floor 6 out of 20 for this section? Oh boy. Don't really feel like switching off of electricity to deal with the bomber heads. I guess I will if I have to, but hey. Until such time as that becomes the case, I'm just going right back to ignoring them. Meanwhile, there's a Gem Ronald here who is a little bit easier to fight. I have a feeling that switching to fire would be a huge mistake here, so I'd like to avoid that. And of course there's a heart, so I can't fight that with Osmond at all. That's real good. I'm very happy about that. Hey, good, we poisoned one of the bomber heads. Ah, shit, we froze it. We re-poisoned it, so that's good. Poison the other one, so that's nice. Oh, it still explodes when it times out. Boo. Can we poison this, please? And probably not, knowing my luck. They really want me to not be on Thunder for this floor, but I don't feel like it. And there's our key. Just the other side of the floor, anyway. Fine, I guess I'll switch to fire. There's a buttload of these guys in the hall here. Stop blocking, you piece of shit. There we go. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Be on our way. I hear a crab already. One of these guys. Oh, shit. We done goofed it a little bit there, boys. And folks who aren't boys. Wow, good save. That. This should let us take out a couple more enemies a little faster, depending on how many things we find. And it'll purge the poison at the end of the status. For some reason. Don't know why it does that, but hey, I won't complain. It's a rather odd mechanic, but hey. Let's see what was dropped there. Might be our exit key. It's not. Mind. Pirate's Chariot. Take that out real quick. In return to just ignoring the card soldiers, because I don't feel like switching to another character. Doesn't have an element equipped. So that way they can do only like half damage to them because of how the mechanics work. How the math on all that bull crap goes. Nice. Oh, there's our silver key, but it no longer matters. Right, how many items do we have in our inventory? Yeah, we should step outside and go purge the inventory, buy some of the stuff that we really use some more of. As you can see, it's taking a bit to sell our stuff now. So we've got a non-zero amount of it, to put it nicely. Oh, yeah, I wanted to buy more of these gold bullions. Dump them in my over here. You can see we are getting so much treasure though that raising money is not that hard. So at least there's that. Once you start getting deep enough into this, grinding is not really the hardest thing in the world. Nice. We get that immediately, so we just have to find our way out of here. And it's good that we get that as quickly as possible, because this place has the shitty fish. I saw at least one of them back there. Oh, here's a couple more. Oops. Let's re-up that real quick. I probably shouldn't be playing like that right now, but hey. Oh, this is awful. I love what I'm seeing here. Not! Thank you, Wayne. And just to remind anybody, I can't remove the element from that weapon because for some reason Osmond's lasers are all magical. I mean, I guess it isn't the most nonsensical option, but also, oh boy, very annoying in a case like this. Well, he's poisoned. I don't have to think about him anymore. Love to hear him just swinging away at nothing when he takes poison damage. Oh, hey, Crystal Eyeball. Nice. Good, like, 700 gold there. Not that that necessarily matters that much, but hey. Pretty good chunk of money. And in exchange, I guess I'll just take a bunch of damage. Well, that's alright. We'll heal it off on the next floor. Presumably. Oh, right, it's beeping to tell me that my weapon is almost out of durability. Also, yeah, things have definitely slowed down significantly, but in my defense, I have been opening, like, every treasure chest after I lost huge amounts of revival powder in the first floor of this place. We didn't immediately find the thing, did we? No. Ah, good, he gave me a piss easy pattern, hell yeah. Love it when that happens. More cursed roses. These things are easy as hell. I'm grateful whenever these show up. And there's our ticket out of here. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. We've only got a few more floors left of this section. Nice. Instantaneous reward. I don't have to think about that fucking Alexander over there. Except for the part where I have to navigate past it without deciding to swing its huge, ugly sword at me. Which it only did once after it blocked, which gave me an out. So, hey, not going to complain about that. Ah, Jesus. Well, the fish is poisoned. He'll be dead in a year. Maybe even less, if I'm lucky. Just checking for mimics. And we got a silver key. That's also pretty important. Yeah, I guess the easy floors couldn't last. Try for a couple of shots to see if we can get a quick poison. And the answer is no. Alright, there's our meal ticket. Hell yeah. That up. I need that money even though it's not that much, and honestly, it's not super important at this point. I'm just racking up a high score. Yes, opening up with a Krabby Hermit here, so... Switch back to this. This should cover, like, most of everything. Ah, there's an ambush party waiting for me. Careful now. Sadly, no key from those guys, but hey. If that's the type of enemies we're dealing with on this floor, this place will be easy. Well, comparatively anyway. Alright, that guy is starting to leak. We're gonna deal with the other enemies in the area, I guess, instead. You know, which is just another of the same enemy. So, hey. That's fine. Take care of him the old-fashioned way. And get Jesus to do it. Wait. No, that's a Bryself reference. Sorry. Ah, my feather. Boo! It's a good thing I have a shitload of these things. Nah, I don't feel like it. Let's just go. Just go. We've got like 6 floors left of this place. Or so. 5 or 6. I forget how many. Ah, disgusting. We got the garbage fish. We got the dumpster fish. That's right. Give me your time, energy, and patience for all the time, energy, and patience you're wasting on me. Yeah, I think I'd rather fight the crabs and see if they decide to be a little bit more generous. And we got these guys. I can deal with an Alexander, I suppose. They're annoying, but rather fight those than the stupid fish. Excuse me. Imagine fighting these guys in the back room. Suck. Did you drop it? Yes, you did. Okay. Let's go back. Alright, it's a couple more floors here. And we got dumpster fish over there. I'd rather deal with anything else here. There's Silver Gear bumping around here. Oh yeah, I see you not dying there, but he's coming back to life poisoned. Honestly, I should have just started pecking him immediately. Give him the old picky peck. The only Pokemon that Blastoise seems to know. For some strange reason. It's alright, I like Toucannon. Very silly Pokemon. So angry. Ugh. That desk fan off, it's a little strong. It's making my eye water, actually. It is so strong and so cold, it's making me fucking leak. On some level, that is profoundly silly. Oh no, the gun is taking damage. Wow. Because there's a lot of enemies for me to shoot. Well, I'm glad that I don't take so much damage from those things that I die, at least, you know? Which genuinely feels like a thing I should be concerned about for the final section of the area. Deal with that when we get there. Alright, just a little bit more of this weirdly green section. And of course, the first thing I see logging into this web zone is a fucking douchebag fish. Oh, look at me, I got a snorkel on in space. Really, shithead? Well, I almost died to this shithead fish, so that was... I'd probably deserved it, but also... I'm displeased by this turn of events anyway. Yeah, power-up powder. Don't really have a huge amount of need for those right now, but neat anyway. Unless any of my weapons are, like... I mean, that one, but we can level that up our own. It's full up. You actually need that, so we'll burn this power-up powder immediately. You say I don't got to do this anymore, but yeah, I see the amount of chests on the map. There's still mimics out there. Right there, for example. Oh boy, an escape powder. I don't really need that. In fact, I barely need the one that I keep in the inventory anyway as backup in case I feel like I need to. Ah, fuck. There, we can at least get to the puddle by then. And of course, there's some jerkfish here. Well, we don't even have to fight it. Hell yeah. I'm out of here. Bye, fucker. Probably do one more. There's our auto repair powder used. It's a shame I pushed that a little bit too hard there, but hey. That's how it goes. That's how it do. I don't know if I need to open chests right now, so I should probably not bother with that. We got... Thankfully, these have never been the enemy with the seal yet, so... I feel justified in just kind of not even bothering trying to fight them with anybody else. Basically just not trying to fight them, period. Excuse me. Oh, our bag is full now. Ah, crap. Well. Remove that for now, and just set all the bombs we have on one thing. Not that this is going to do much damage, but hey. For all I know, it might make some progress. Plus, more importantly, it frees that up for us. And I kind of feel like chucking these things out. Oh, they're only one-hit items anyway. But they do have a little bit of AoE to them. That's neat. Put that in the pouch, and back we go. I just wanted to dump a little bit of inventory space so that way I would have some for the next floor. In case it becomes necessary. Just so that way I don't have to fucking leave immediately. You know, right before I'm done, right? Nice to finish this off here. But here we are, last floor of the section. Oh, there's a key gate in here. And of course, to round things out here at the very end, we got a fish on this floor. Probably a couple more, knowing our luck, but hey, we'll find that out when we get to them. Well, that was quite easy, so that's good. While I'm here, I'm going to recover some water because of reasons. Almost got knocked off course there. Pick one of those up. Pick one of those up. And now start dumping the garbage. Okay, I said those were 700 earlier. I'm wrong. They're 500. That's still a pretty significant quantity of cash, considering. And drop these off, and yes. Got 29,000 in the bank. Jeez. Alright, folks, next time we tackle this game, we should be finishing it. There's one last section of 20 floors, and one big super boss that between its two forms has something like 90,000 HP, so we will definitely need all those 3 hours, I'm pretty sure. Well, regardless, folks, that is all for tonight.